good day and welcome. Matthew here again. We're at Nations Cup, round 31, Group 2 at Fuji Speedway. So once again, Fuji, not my favourite track. I still do not get that last sector, but practice went alright for me. Qualifying, as you can see, did not. I ended up 10th and I just managed to get a halfway decent lap time right at the last lap. But we see Adam fall off very early on. Don't know what happened up there. We might as well go have a look because that's what we got replays for. Just one moment. So pretty simple. Holland goes into turn 1, overtaking Adam. Adam's already saving fuel. Noble gives him a bit of a tap. Adam just gets a bit too wide. I gets a bit put off with the tap and hits that very slippery fake grass area. As soon as you get out there in these cars, if you're accelerating, you are toast. And it was so slim, but Adam's rear tyre just got on there. He was still turning to the right, kind of recovering from the tap from Noble. It wasn't a big or nefarious tap from Noble, it just kind of happened. First turn thing, and Adam unfortunately suffered quite badly from it. So back to the start. So my strategy was a no-stop race, and I knew starting 10th, a lot of other drivers are probably not doing that. They're probably going to be very aggressive, so I just had to avoid the carnage in the first couple of laps, being starting mid-pack, which is a lot easier said than done. So, and hopefully come out ahead by not stopping. And you just see these gaggle of cars, and they just gather all around, they tap each other. I'm just trying to avoid it, pick my spots, avoid the guy on the left, watch out for the guy on the right, give him some room. Because at this stage I'm not battling these guys. They're going to be faster than me on the straight because they're not saving the fuel like I am. I brake earlier into these corners. I let, we've already got Art Lane go up the inside of me there. You know, just do not cause an accident. Do not pick up an unnecessary penalty. Have some patience. Let these guys go through. Hopefully not get too caught up in battles. Do not cost yourself too much time while you're letting these drivers through. And you see Brian looks to the inside. These corners at the end of the circuit, they really seem to encourage drivers to stick their nose up there. Like, that gap is always going to close. The cars, you take a wide line into these long corners and you come and pinch the apex at the end. The gap is always going to close, but people, all drivers, I'm not picking on anybody in particular, but all drivers seem to want to stick their nose up there where it's not required, you know, or not needed, not wanted. It is valid, you know. That was just me being early onto my brakes into turn 1 and getting tapped by Brian. He probably didn't expect me to brake so early, and he gives me a tap, but not a big deal. I just on the anchors a bit harder and saved it and pulled into the apex. I guess it is a valid overtaking point by putting your nose up and preventing the other car from turning in, but I guess some people just do it where there's no way, even if their nose goes up the inside, you know, into that corner, they're still not going to get the overtaking job done, and they're just slowing down both cars. And I think that just may be the difference between, you know, some of your top drivers like Adam and Sidog and the like. They would understand that and they'd race you fairly. Unless they're going for an overtake, they'd probably stick the nose up there. But first lap stuff, they're probably not going to. They're just going to fall on behind because they know it's going to cost them time, and it's just going to drop everybody back into the pack, which is not where you want to be. Ideally, you want to spread out, get away from major battles, which are going to cost you time, and then you can put your strategy into play and start to gain places. But hey, it's something that's learned, not necessarily so obvious, but I guess if you're a driver who, you know, watching this, who likes to stick their nose up the inside of corners, you know, even when there's no chance or very little chance of it coming off, you know, maybe you can learn something. That you don't always have to do it. Yeah, sure, there's a gap. You don't always have to go for that gap. Just think of the bigger picture. Think about where you want to be at the end of the race, because ultimately you want the result at the end of the race. There's no point in gaining a position now if it's going to cost you 2 positions, you know, by the end of the race. So I guess set your goal in mind early on where you want to be, and that's exactly what I'm doing with this strategy. I started 10th, in fact going into the race, regardless where I started, I was not going to qualify on pole, but the overall race strategy was likely to be the fastest by no stopping. So I knew I had to pace myself. The end goal was to be, top 5, maybe, depending on how the race panned out. And so starting 10th, I figured, depending on how many people pit, I might get top 5. I knew early on I was going to suffer, I was going to lose places, and I lost some places, and you saw that. But the ultimate goal was, because I was losing those places, I was sticking to my fuel save strategy. It was, in the end, going to provide me with a better finishing position, rather than trying to go aggressive, take every little position I can, but maybe then I couldn't no stop, and I'd have to stop, and I'd fall back and not get 5th. I might have ended up 9th or 10th or something. This is what I'm trying to say in a really long roundabout way, is that think of the bigger picture. Like 180 that just went past me, the previous lap I saw him in my rearview mirror take somebody out going into the chicane. He just punted them, deliberate or not, I don't know, but I just saw him, and I know 180, it's not a bad driver, but a bit of a loose cannon. I see him knock other cars off. I knew he was coming down that straight. I knew he was going to be a lot faster than me. I was not going to fight him at all. I was just going to let him sail on by, and it was a clean move. Might have cost me a 10th, but in the big picture of a 15-16 minute race, a 10th of a second, not a big deal. He can have the position. I'm not going to try to fight him for it. The chances of me getting knocked off are a lot riskier than the 10th I lost by letting him by. And once again, if he's going to stop, which he's likely going to because of the pace he's going, then I'm going to get him back when he goes for a pit stop anyway. So yeah, hope you learned something. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Maybe you think I'm full of it. Probably am. But we'll get on with the race, eh? So coming up to the end of lap 6, I have Adam, who fell off the track at the start of the race, as you saw, right on my tail. I guess at this stage, like Sidog, he pitted lap 4, he was sitting about 5th place. And yes, general strategy, if you're going to do a one stop, you're just going to pit in the middle. You're going to pit lap 5 and go to the end. So last you saw me, I was sitting in 8th. Sidog pit lap 4, lap 5, everybody else did. I got my way up to 3rd. Adam was flying, and considering he was going on to lap 6, I assumed he was doing a no stop as well. We had TRL Hollow and Mint GTR both up the road. I think when everybody pitted and I ended up behind Mint, I was about 7 seconds down on 2nd place. So not too bad. Makosi, who was in 1st by a long way, pitted first, he'd saved his fuel, and he was flying up the back of me. Let Adam by, can't really fight him. Like, we are on the same strategy, so we should be about the similar pace, but he's a fast driver. He had the fuel saving down better than I did. He was saving more fuel and going at a faster rate, so there's no defense for that, is there? Somebody's just flat out faster than you. Like Makosi here, he's got newer tyres. He's going to overtake me. I think he gives me a bit of a bump going into this corner. I probably didn't expect how slow I was going to be. I was taking it easy because you're on racing softs. The tyre wear multiplier is quite high, so you do have to look after them to get them to the end. Otherwise, you're just absolutely nowhere by the end of the race. So once again, I was still thinking of the big picture, saving the tyres, letting other drivers pass. Nick, head pitted, was on fresh tyres. He was always going to get past me. There's no point in fighting him. He is not my fight. I guess figured out by this stage that the group of cars that were in the second pack, like Sidog, Art Noble, Holland, who turns out doesn't pit, and Mint, they were who I was battling. So I was really looking to hold on to my position ahead of the likes of Noble and Sidog, who both pitted already. So that was who I was really racing at this stage, unless somebody up front like Adam ran out of fuel, or Mint GDR ran out of tyres or something like that. But at this stage, with the starting 10th, starting so far back, and the battles that you saw, like me trying to avoid the battles in lap 1 and 2, it'd cost me too much time to really compete with second, third, fourth. So at this stage, top 5 finish would be incredible, so that was my aim. Nobody else was going to threaten me unless one of the fast guys that pitted, like Noble or Sydog, would come up behind me and blitz me on fresher rubber. So final lap, as you see, coming to the last few corners, you can see how warm my tyres are. Got it to the end. I did get passed by Noble. He caught me onto the straight on lap 9 and just slipstreamed me. I could not do anything at this stage with those tyres so worn. Even if we went into the braking zone of turn 1 side by side, he'd have so much more grip to outbrake me and outperform me into that corner that I was nowhere. I do beat Sydog to the line by about a second, so pretty happy with that. I did get, I guess, one of my goals to beat the guys that were in that pack, and came home 6th. So 10th or 6th, not too unhappy with that considering how my race went. I knew there was more in it. I did not drive the fastest I could for that one, but pretty happy with 6th considering the field and where I started. So that was it, pretty tough racing, mostly hampered by my qualifying position. I ended up doing race 2 because I wasn't happy with 6th place. I knew the car and I knew I was capable of more. Unfortunately, race 2 was a bit quiet. It was only Adam out of this race that turned up again in terms of the really fast guys. So we qualified 1 and 2, and we both no-stopped and we both walked away from the rest of the field, followed by Schnick, who got home in 3rd, who also did a no-stop, I think, in the Lexus. But still, even in that one, I went, I think, 15 seconds faster than I did in this race, but Adam was still easily half a second faster per lap, so he had figured out how to fuel save better than I did in this race and put it to good use and drove a great race for race 2. And that's how he got back. Like, after he'd fallen off the track, I think he's in the pack there, I think he's 17th or 16th or something. That's how he got from 16th back up to 4th by the end of the race. So just really good drive by Adam, really impressive to see, because he was wringing the neck out of the car going down the straight, and I couldn't in the way I was saving fuel. So there's always something to learn. You can always, I guess, learn off your opponents. When you get beaten by somebody, go see what they've saved, that replay, go see what they did. I certainly have. I've saved this one, and obviously because I'm speaking over it, but this one in race 2 where it was boring and I was never going to use it for a video. But I went back and I watched Adam and how he drove, and I'm learning from that, and I'm going to try to apply it or just use some thoughts from it in future races. So it's important to, I guess, learn and reflect on your race and try to improve for the future. So sure, maybe you don't beat that driver that you're always trying to beat, or somebody who's normally ahead of you, but as long as you go out and you perform better than you did last time, that's always my goal, is just to, if I turn up for Group 2 Fuji again, then I want to outperform what I did last time. I want to be a little bit faster on my qualifying, or faster on my hot laps, or race pace comes down, or be a better position in the race, or something like that, versus whoever's on. So I just set my own personal goals every time I come across the same car track combo, and just try to be better than last time. And learning from other drivers, and learning from your losses, and learning from drivers like Adam and the guys that win these races quite frequently, how to do it, or how to apply their strategies to your driving style. But anyway, I keep going on tangents. I don't know, maybe it's the water tonight, I don't know. But thank you all for watching, thank you for coming along and listening. If you did like what you see, give us a subscribe and a thumbs up, or a like, or whatever that button is. If you do want to see these races live, the link is in the description below. Follow me on Twitch. I think I meant to say it the other way around. Follow me on Twitch. The link is in the description below. So until next time, I should really script these, eh? It'll probably come out way better. So until next time, thanks for coming along, and bye-bye.